Hey, hi everyone. In this particular video, we are going to learn about how to handle CRUD operation with the validation error. Now, validation error happens when the data you insert or update does not match the rules that is defined in your schema or the validator. That means while creating a collection, you will define some of the rules which will be applied on all the documents that we will insert, right? So MongoDB let us add the validation rule to ensure that the data is correct, right? So let's say that I want to add the document of the people whose age is greater than 20, right? So in that particular case, if anyone tries to insert a data, right, let's say our database has many user access and anyone is trying to insert a data or the document who of the person whose age is less than 20, in that particular case this validation rule will restrict that data to get inserted, right? So how we could do it? Well, for doing it we need to create a collection with validation, right? So first of all, while creating a collection, you need to define few things, which is this. You can check, right? So in this particular video, what we are going to do is that we are going to create a collection where the validation rule is that the name requires a string, that the name should always be string, right? And the age must be a number and it should be greater than 18 or equals to 18, right? This is what the validation or the rule that we are going to define for our schema, right? So how we do it? Well, this is the main format to do it. Let's go to our MongoDB shell and understand that how it works. So we are inside our office database and we don't have any collection till now. Let me show you. Show collections, and you can see it is empty here, right? That means there is no such collection present. So what we are going to do, we will create a collection, right, with all the validation rules that we want. So let's start for it, right? So first of all we need to write here db dot create collection the same way we do earlier, right? Create collection and then put a bracket. Now inside this bracket mention the name of the collection, right? So it is users like this, right? And after writing this user, which is the name of collection, you need to put the comma, right? And after that just put a curly bracket. Now inside of this everything will be done, right? So first of all put a validator like this, right? And then put a curly bracket like this, press enter, right? Then you need to write the dollar schema, sorry, dollar JSON schema. We are going to write the JSON schema, right? So first of all put the dollar and then JSON schema like this, right? And then put a colon, curly bracket, and go downward. Now for the JSON schema we use the bson schema on the objects, right? So we need to write here bson type is your object like this, right? After that put a comma and go downward. Now most important field is your required and the properties field. So right here required, right? Required is what we are going to put the things or the validation on our name and the age, right? So just write here the name comma age like this, close it, put a comma, go downward. Now properties, we are going to define the properties. For properties we need to use an object, so use a curly bracket, go downward. Now for the name, what should be the property? Put a curly bracket like this, that it should be based on type, right? It should be based on type of string, right? Listen to me now. Let me just close it and explain you thoroughly. First of all we put a JSON schema. JSON schema is how we insert the data inside the document, right? But we also know that our bson type, bson type, right, is your object that we can insert the nested documents, right? The object inside the object. This is how your MongoDB allows. So the bson type is for the just this, for this particular JSON schema is your object, right? Now after that we have required for two fields, name and the age, so that we have given. Now we are defining the properties. Now for the name, the bison type, that the same we did for the JSON schema, that we are doing for the name schema. That is, it should be a string. It should be a string. Now put a comma, go downward. Now for the age, what should be the bison type? Let me just write it here for you. Bison type like this. Now it should be int, right? So it should be int, integer, comma. Now the second property that I want, you can just add whatever number of properties that you want by putting the commas, right? So the minimum constraint is your 18, right? Just close it, and after that just go downward. Let's close the properties, and after that let's close the JSON schema, let's close the validator, and let's close the collection, right? Let's close the collection and your final parenthesis. Now let's just press enter and see that whether it is working or not. So yes, it is done now, so you can check it is okay one, right? So now it's time to check that whether it is working properly or not, right? So let's go to the notes first, and yes, you can check here, right? So I'm first you going to use the wrong example, right? So if I just copy it and paste it here, so here you can see db.users, users is my collection name, right? And then insert one, which is used to insert one document, right, at a time. And then here on the name field, I'm inserting a Piyush, which is quoted, right? That means it is a string, and this is what we made here, right? That name should always be a string. But in case of age, if you see, it is having a number, but it is not, because it is having these annotations. That's why it is a string, not integer. But we made age field as fixed as integer, and its minimum value doesn't matter because earlier in the first one we have made it wrong, right? So now if I press enter, let's see what happens. You can check it has given a long error, which is mainly document failed validation. That means it is a validation error that we are getting now, right? And this is the complete information about that operator's name is based on type specified as integer, right? But you have considered as it is string, so that is why it is giving the error. Got it? So basically, we successfully created a validation for our collection, and it is working properly. Now, if I try to insert it, a correct, like correct data, now let's just copy it and let's just paste it here, right? And if I press enter, you can check everything is correct. The name is Piyush, which is a string, age is an integer, it is greater than 18, it is greater than 18, right? That's why acknowledgement is true and insert ID means it is inserted, right? So this is how it works. Now, one more thing, that even if you try to update the data at that time also, if you do not follow the validation, even then you will get the same kind of error, right? So I hope you understood the concept that how this validation works in MongoDB. This is all about today's video. Thank you so much for watching. Goodbye.